Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here. The Shaming of Jay. Jay just now ended. We're about to go live right now. Anybody that did not see the Ross Addiego testimony yesterday, I'm going to be checking that out because yesterday I did not get to check this testimony out. So I want to see this. Going to be hanging out for a little bit here. Welcome to Publicly Buzzed, coming at you.
Let's rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here, Publicly Buzzed live on the air. If you're coming over from the Shaming of Jay, thank you so much. Appreciate you for coming in here. Again, I'm going to be watching a little bit of the testimony. I'm going to watch a little something from earlier, but the main part of today, Court TV put out this really nice part of yesterday's testimony with Ross Addiego, and I'm going to check that out. Addiego, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I apologize there. But if you're watching the Hannah Gutierrez trial, holy shit. If you're watching today with the Shaming of Jay, you're probably as infuriated as I am at her lackluster care of literally doing anything about the job that she was responsible for on the set of Rust. It's absolutely insane. And yeah, this is a Dolly Grip that was on the set who was working. And I'm going to get the sound over here. But please, guys, thank you all so much for coming in here. Hit the like, share this out, let people know that you're hanging out with Publicly Buzzed. We're going to jump right in here. I heard good things about this one.
Scene, we were using,
and I heard sad.
A Steadicam, which is camera apparatus affixed to the camera operator. And I don't think they were getting quite what they wanted as far as how the photography was portraying the story. So I brought the dolly in so we could mount the camera on the dolly and give them a more stable platform.
If Hannah ends up in my DMs, I don't even know. My God, Jay handled that insanely well earlier, talking that mad shit to me. Yeah, well, how dare her? She has a lot more to worry about. She has a lot more on her plate than someone on the internet making videos. Okay, what the? That was insane. This entire day was insane. This entire trial has been insane.
Difficulties abound. Go ahead and have a seat. Thank you. Please continue, sir.
I think that was it for the.
Okay. So, while these gentlemen were speaking to me, did you explain that this was going to be a blocking?
I did not.
Let's go there. Explain what the blocking is.
So the decision was made to go from Steadicam to the dolly. So once it takes a moment to convert that camera over from one use to another. So I'm getting the dolly close to the pew where Mr. Baldwin, Harlan Rust, would be sitting, and working with the camera operator, Reed. Halyna had kind of mentioned where she wanted us, but I believe her and her gaffer were starting to prepare for the turnaround of when the lawmen came into the church. So we were just trying to find blocking the shot, we would call it, trying to find the shot that best told the story in that moment that the director wanted to tell, which was to be, my understanding was to be an extreme close-up of Alec starting to draw his weapon, and then from what I know in the edit, his cut would have been, you as the audience see that weapon start to leave his holster, and then we were going to then put the camera behind him to see the lawmen enter the church, and that's when this shootout would have begun in the church.
So were cameras rolling?
No, we were still blocking the shot.
And were you present in the church when Ms. Gutierrez brought the firearm into the church?
Yes.
And tell the jury what you saw and or heard.
I never saw the interaction between Hannah and Dave in the church, but I could hear Hannah telling Dave that the firearm had been checked before lunch and had been locked up during lunch, and then Dave called out cold gun or cold weapon. I heard the word cold, and that's when I went back to focusing on my task at hand, helping Reed and Halyna find that insert shot.
This guy seems really nice. And I did see a little bit of testimony. I didn't see this portion yesterday. But could you imagine being this guy, and then again, this is your job. You're going to go on to another set. There's nothing good about this whatsoever, but hopefully the safety precautions in the future are not going to be put to the side whatsoever on any kind of movie set, whether that's major Hollywood, multi-million, billion-dollar movies, or even if they're just small million or even $100,000 indie flicks. Safety should never, ever be put to the wayside, ever. So I feel for this dude, man.
Trying to iron out this issue. Thank you, Mr. Addiego.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you recall who said cold gun? Did you describe that?
I did. I heard Dave Hall's call. I don't recall if it was cold gun or cold weapon, but I heard the word cold, which typically for me is what I need to hear.
And cold gun means it's not going to go bang.
Correct.
Okay. With regard to Ms. Gutierrez's statement that you overheard about her not having checked the gun since lunch, did that cause you any concern?
It did.
Why?
Just accustomed to armorers checking those guns again on a regular basis, and we had a break. And typically, that any firearm that's brought on set is checked, even if it had been checked previously.
Do you know how the gun got from Ms. Gutierrez to Mr. Baldwin?
I do not.
So after you heard Ms. Gutierrez's voice and you heard Mr. Hall's call out cold gun, where was the gun the next time you saw it?
In Mr. Baldwin's holster on his left side.
Did you see Ms. Gutierrez in the church?
I don't recall seeing her in the church after lunch, no.
So go ahead and walk us through. Mr. Baldwin now has the gun. Where is he sitting? What is he doing? Take us through this.
And hey, Mona, it's almost like people forget. People always forget. This will be forgotten too. I hope not. I hope that they never stop with safety precautions. My mic's going crazy here. I need to get it tightened up. But I hope that they don't ever stop with safety precautions being at the top of the list. There should be, and I know they are on movie sets, signs everywhere about safety on a set. The last thing you want to do, someone that's there to do their job, which is an actor or a stagehand or whatever, a slew of different jobs that people have, hundreds of people are just on this set. Safety is the utmost. Has to be. But yeah, we haven't, at least I haven't. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. I know Adam did a deep dive on this, and I don't think he found anything else either. Adam Malone, who threw out the $2. Thank you, brother. But I don't think there was anything since Brandon Lee, which was 1993, if I'm not mistaken. 93, 94. I think it was 93 when that incident happened. So, I mean, it's been, what are we looking at, 30 freaking years now. So, I mean, it seems that people through other industries in the world, and especially people that use heavy equipment in crazy dangerous situations, you always have these, it's usually because of money, and in this situation it probably is too. They probably didn't want to waste more funds on more people because Hannah, she should have not been the head armorer, period, but it needed more help. There should have been more people on the set for these positions. So I mean, that has to be number freaking one, y'all. Has to be.
Mr. Baldwin seated in a church pew, and Reed and I are trying to find an angle, looking kind of over his right elbow or right bicep to see his hands in his lap transition from his lap to that firearm that's kind of hidden in a holster under the coat that he's wearing.
So if you can stand up, if you don't mind, and demonstrate what you believed Mr. Baldwin was supposed to do for the blocking.
My understanding was it was just to reveal that part of, the part of the gun that holds the bullets coming out of the holster, and then that portion of the, that piece of photography was finished. Once we saw that gun coming out.
I hate to keep pausing this, but you guys are making a lot of good points in the chat here. KTG, think about how many movies that have been made all these decades, and very rarely does this happen. Think about that, and now think about how many mistakes were happening on just this one movie. You had all the people that were quitting. You had the multiple misfires. You had ammo leaking out of the pockets of this bitch. Leaking out of the pockets into multiple areas of the set. In a gun, in holsters, bullet belts. It's insane. Just out and about on the ammo cart. This movie alone is insane with the mistakes. And yeah, you're right. How many? Millions of movies. Hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many fucking movies have been made in Hollywood. And to have the such few incidents, amazing, awesome. But this one movie, crazy, dude.
Of the holster, it would again give the audience the idea in that story that Harlan Rust is about to defend himself or try to shoot the lawmen before they shoot him as they enter the church.
How close were the cameras to Mr. Baldwin?
The only camera we had in the church was, I think at that point I had the lens within a foot of Mr. Baldwin.
And do you recall where Ms. Hutchins was?
I do.
You do.
I do.
Would you explain?
So directly, if I'm sitting in the pew as Harlan Rust, Halyna Hutchins was essentially directly in front of Rust, having a conversation with her gaffer. So there was maybe a couple of feet of air in between Mr. Baldwin and the pew that Halyna and Serge were standing behind, directly in front of Mr. Baldwin.
And let me stop you. What's a gaffer? We don't know these terms.
My apologies. Gaffer is the head of the lighting department. So he was discussing with the director of photography. My understanding, of course, is they were discussing what we were going to do when we turned around to see the lawmen, because we were already lit for the direction that we were filming.
Do you remember the gaffer's name?
Serge is his first name. I believe his last name, and I don't want to slaughter it, but I think it was Svetne.
It's my job, sir. If anyone's going to slaughter any names around here, it's going to be me.
Svetne,
Okay.
I believe is his last name.
Could you understand the conversation between Ms. Hutchins and Mr. Svetnoy? That's my
Thank you.
best try.
So often none of us could understand because they often conversed in either Russian or Ukrainian, as they were both born and raised in that part of the world. So,
Do you know where Mr. Souza was at this point in time?
Mr. Souza was shoulder to shoulder, just to my right. He was looking at my dolly monitor so he could see what the camera was seeing.
So why would the director be in the room looking at your monitor? Well, let me ask it this way. Would the director normally be looking at that vantage point from Video Village?
Depends on the director and the situation. Sometimes they'll work with us more closely where they will be shoulder to shoulder, and we'll look at my monitor. We were still waiting for the new camera assistants to finish converting from Steadicam to what we'd call studio mode. So I don't believe the camera actually had a monitor. And potentially that's why he was looking over my shoulder instead of a bit removed in the Video Village.
Okay, we're going to pause for a moment. We think we're going to be able to watch these videos, and that's going to give everybody a much better idea of what was going on in there.
Five months, my God.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Deja vu.
We've already gone through
4
the
months.
slate and et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
I'm going to go ahead
Happy
and
anniversary.
play
Happy
this
anniversary.
video. This video will be marked as States Exhibit 112.
I saw a snippet of this on Twitter. I don't think I've seen all of it. Yesterday,
What's that noise?
just for a second, yesterday, there was so much going on. Like, it was one of the craziest Mondays. Like, my work was just nuts. So I didn't get to see a lot of yesterday. I went back and watched some things here and there, some of the stuff that, of course, they make the clips of on Twitter. And a little bit afternoon I got to see. But, man, I didn't get to see a lot of the stuff yesterday. So
Hear that? Ch-ch-ch-ch.
I'm not actually sure. I was trying to figure that out myself.
Okay.
Alan Russ? Need to get up nice and slow. Toss any weapons you might have. Ain't no iteration.
Who is the person speaking? Whose voice are we hearing?
It sounds like Jensen Ackles.
And is he an actor?
He is an actor in Rust playing one of the lawmen is my recollection.
Okay, thank you.
Stand up slowly.
I could see that,
And
Shelley.
toss in guns.
Hey, Jensen. Who watches Jensen Ackles on The Boys? Huh? It's fucking good. Super good.
And set and action.
Love you guys, seriously.
On the rush. Did you get up nice and slow? Toss any weapons you might have. There ain't no iteration you walking out of this church lesson. You stand up slowly and toss them guns. Okay, and set. Put it up. Okay, so
There's the answer to your question. That's the answer to your question earlier, that sound.
Why don't you explain to us what we're seeing?
So what you just saw for a brief moment was one of the effects department people coming in to spray at what we'd call atmosphere. So dust or whatever I don't know what's in their spray can, but that is what that sound
I need some of that for the
That's what they were doing,
stream.
was adding atmosphere that makes it
I need
look
some
a little
atmosphere behind me,
foggy.
just some smoke
And if hard
coming
light
out.
comes through those
Be
windows,
dope.
you would kind of see those lights, the rays of light in that fog.
And I just backed this video up to 1 minute 6 seconds so that I can ask you the position that Mr. Baldwin is sitting in this video. Is that the same or similar position that he was in the blocking scene after lunch?
Yes, similar.
Okay.
That's what's fucking freaky to think about, Amy, for real.
Okay, so if you want to go lower than that,
Well, is there any way you can come up and see me open my eyes, or you know what? You know, let's say I'm down here like this, and when he says Harlan Rust, I'm gonna go, boop.
okay.
But you gotta come down here for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see if we can do that. Ready? Here we go.
Do you want
On another take. Here we go. Ready?
All right, another take. And set. Ready? And action.
Harlan Rust.
Yes.
Did you get up nice?
Definitely
and
expect
slow?
something fucking weird.
Toss any guns you
CH.
have. There ain't no iteration you walking out of this church lesson. You stand up slowly and toss some weapons. Russ.
All right, let's flip the sensor.
Can we try this?
So let me ask you, just so that we get an idea, where we see Mr. Baldwin sitting in the church pew, where is the door to the church?
Behind the camera.
From Mr. Baldwin's perspective, is it in front of him?
In front of Mr. Baldwin, yes.
And where is Mr. Ackles, the gentleman who is speaking in the scene?
It sounds as though he's just to the left of the camera.
So where would that be in relation to the door?
Jensen would be in between Mr. Baldwin and the door.
Okay, and if you can estimate how many feet, how big is this room, and how many feet are there from where Mr. Baldwin is sitting to the door?
In that instance, because we had moved the pews around a little, so in that instance,
I didn't know that, Brooklyn. Her contract was $8K for this movie. Talking to Phil from Tayo Toys. Not sure what the going rate for the Union Armorer was.
Baldwin's
Interesting.
less than 20 feet from the door would be my guess.
Can't grow walking through the door saying, what the
And who's
fuck's
this
up?
gentleman here that we can see in the video?
That is Dave Halls.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish it just for completeness, and then we'll move on to our next one. All right.
Dude, it's creepy as fuck. Like the whole scene. Because you know, right?
Play what will be marked as States Exhibit 112A. I would ask the court to go ahead and admit 112A and give permission to publish.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 112A is admitted. You may publish.
Harlan Russ. Need you to stand up nice and slow. Toss any weapons you have.
Again, ready?
Little too wide. And set, ready, and action.
Harlan Russ. Need you to get up nice and slow. Toss any weapons you have.
One more.
I'm not ready yet. Sorry. One more. God, dude. It's crazy.
Ready?
Set, ready, and action.
Harlan Russ. Need you to get up nice and slow. Toss any weapons you have.
Well, how close can I get right there?
Joe, you only wait to give you that line till he lands, till camera lands.
Yeah, Alec.
Yep.
Set in this one.
Yeah.
Draw your gun and look up and point your gun, okay?
Okay, which way? Camera right or left?
Just this side camera for now.
So camera left for now.
I'll stand right here for you, Alec.
So whip it out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me get this all greased and ready. Okay, ready?
Is he greasing
Okay,
it? Is that
ready?
how you grease it, bud?
Ready.
And set, ready, and action.
Harlan Russ.
Do one more just like that. You got one more? Yeah.
Ready, 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 ready.
And set, ready, and action.
Harlan Russ.
It's about these gonna be one more.
Nice.
Dude, yeah, it's so creepy because you know what the fuck's what came.
Okay. So the blocking, you can take these, thank you, Shad. The blocking that you were describing, as a person who was working in the room, were you expecting Mr. Baldwin to pull the gun all the way out? Like what we just saw in those clips?
In the blocking of the ECU,
What's the ECU?
extreme close-up,
Okay,
I was not.
okay.
My
Go ahead.
my understanding was it was just to kind of reveal that weapon coming out of the holster to the camera.
So I think that we may have ended your description of what was going on in the after lunch session where Mr. Souza was standing. And were there other people in the church also?
Yes.
Do you know approximately how many people were in there?
Myself, Reed, the camera operator, Zach, the boom guy was.
When you say the boom guy, what is a boom?
Sorry, guys. The sound. The person holding the sound boom. So recording sound for the sound mixer was in the church. Joel was shoulder to shoulder, like I had described, looking at my monitor. I believe Mamie Mitchell was to his right. Wardrobe, a woman named Doran was in there, I think, looking over Mimi's shoulder at the monitor. Halyna, Serge, my direct boss, Reese Price, who's the key grip, he's the head of the grip department, had just come in to work with Halyna and Serge. Dave Halls.
Lucky guy, Dave Halls.
Maybe one of the effects guys.
Lucky guy, that Dave Halls.
Paul was kind of in and out, keeping an eye on things because they had pre-rigged some of their effects stuff in the ceiling, again in preparation for the big turnaround that we were about to do.
Okay.
So I didn't give you a number, but I think that works out to 12-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So keep walking us through it. What happens next?
So we, I guess Reed and I are trying to find the camera angle that Joel, the director, is happy with, that he feels will tell that piece of the story. I think, like I mentioned earlier, I believe Halyna and Serge were discussing how to change the lighting for the turnaround. Reese, my boss, Reese Price, was in there. I think he had just brought in a bounce card, maybe for that insert, maybe for the next shot.
We don't know what a bounce card is.
Lighting apparatus. So he was going to use some of the light coming through one of the windows and potentially reflect that back towards Mr. Baldwin to help illuminate him. I think Joel, the director, and Alec had some brief conversation back and forth about what the goal was for that shot, and
100%, Amber.
I think Alec had drawn it once to kind of audition what he thought his action should be for Joel, and then he drew it again, and it went off, and instantly, I mean, a firearm went off in a small wooden church, so the concussion, ears ringing, that moment of panic
It'd be
in
crazy
everybody.
loud. The panic, just
I think
'cause
the
you're-
first person
this
I
ain't
made
supposed to
eye
happen.
contact with was Halyna, who was clearly injured by whatever that gunshot was, that noise we had just heard. And in fact, she was starting to go flush, and I think holding her right side, and then I think that Joel let out some sort of scream or made some noise that, to indicate he was also injured. And I think I just my attention went to Joel because he was the closest to me. I think I recall Reed and Serge moving Pew out of the way to help Halyna get to basically to lay Halyna down and start tending to her, figure out what her injuries were, or injury. And I started attending to Joel. I think I yelled out that if you can't help us, get the fuck out of here. And someone called 911, and I do recall Mimi's voice in the distance.
I mean, the
talking
sheer
to
panic and shock in that fucking moment. This is not supposed to happen. This can't happen. This shouldn't happen. How did this happen? That's all going through your head at the same time. While this poor gentleman, this guy is trying to actually help and figure out what he can do to help in this moment, man. It had to be absolute sheer fucking chaos, dude. Insane.
911 and telling him where we're at, and I tried to calm Joel down. We had a good rapport, so I just tried to calm him down and let him know that we were going to get through it because I didn't know what else to do in that moment. And then soon after, the medic and the best boy electric came into the church.
And I'm going to stop you real quick. The medic, do you recall her name?
Her first name was Cher. I don't recall her last name.
Okay, and who was the other person you said best?
The best boy electric, Matt Hemmer, I believe was his last name. He was Serge's second in command, is what a best boy is. So the gaffer and the key grip each have a best boy, and then the rest of their department. My understanding was Matt had some combat medical training, so he came in to assist the medic Cher, and I think
When, right after the gun went off, do you recall seeing Ms. Gutierrez in the church?
I do not.
And did Mr. Baldwin
That's
stay
true,
in the
Fuzzy.
church?
Just watching, it's like, what the fuck is
He
happening?
sat down in that same pew. I think in that moment when I yelled out that if you can't help us, you need to, get out of here. I think he sat down, and then at some point, I looked over and he was gone. So
Okay. And in terms of your attention to Mr. Souza, what were you doing to him? Were you touching his body? What were you doing?
I was. So Joel was wearing kind of a thick hoodie, and I believe he had a t-shirt or a couple shirts on underneath. So it was start to figure out where Joel had been injured. He was certainly at that point writhing in pain and concerned for himself, asking me how Halyna was, and
No.
I think
Can you fix that real quick, Shelly? 1 sec. Boom. The static's been weird the last little bit. It's been like endless.
into the realization that he had
annoying.
been shot. So I was trying to find where he was wounded. So started pulling back his hoodie to reveal what appeared to be a circular wound in his right shoulder. And at that point, I think the sheriff and Matt came in. They had gloved hands. I didn't, so I had some of his blood on my hands.
Did that fix the static? Hopefully it fixed the static. Static's been stupid. I don't know what's going on.
I think I helped them roll Joel over. One of them had trauma shears to cut his shirt off, and then I helped roll him over, and I was in a position to see that what appeared to be a bullet just under the skin, basically where his right shoulder blade was, and he was in a great deal of pain. And I think that Cher gave me some gauze to just put some pressure on the wound while they attended to Halyna's injuries, which I gathered at that time were certainly much more severe because of her proximity to the firearm.
And could you hear
That part sucks, man. Like, from all accounts, it seems like she would have it was already fatal, sadly, but I mean, that still fucking sucks. And anybody that knows me and knows my rants about EMTs going right into hospitals and doctors and medical professions, no offense to anybody in this chat, but I do not trust really anybody. I mean, and just to hear that's fucking crazy.
Ms. Hutchins, I know you indicated that Mr. Souza was...
Dude, I know. It's been a long week already. I know you had a long-ass day, Jay. They had a crazy-ass Jay.
Did you hear anything
Jay had a crazy-ass day. I think I mixed that up.
from Ms. Hutchins?
If I did, it was just, the groaning and discomfort from being shot by a firearm. I don't remember anything verbal from Halyna.
Okay. And at some point, did paramedics arrive?
Yes.
And if you know, at some point, was Ms. Hutchins taken for medical care offset?
Yeah, thank you, sir. I stayed with Joel until they carried him out, and what I observed was they were trying to stabilize her. I heard them call for a lifeline, so they were trying to stabilize.
He can't even keep his
Stabilize
composure,
her to.
I know fucking why, but I can't imagine the cross.
Get her to whatever ER they felt was appropriate.
And at some point in time, were you notified that Ms. Hutchins had passed?
Yes.
Mr. Addiego, when you heard the gunshot and you saw these people fall, did it occur to you in that moment that it was a live round, that there was a real bullet in that gun?
I don't, maybe not in that moment. I think it became clear when, like I mentioned, I rolled Joel over, helped roll Joel over to see what very much looked like a large caliber bullet just being barely held in by his skin.
Okay. And is this the first time in your life that you've ever seen a bullet?
No.
Okay, so you knew a bullet when you saw one?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see Ms. Gutierrez after the gunshot went off?
Not until today.
Okay. And I want to back up. The people the camera crew that walked off that morning, did you know those people?
As well as you can know anyone in 2 weeks. Sure.
Based on your time on set and everything that you knew about what was going on that movie set, do you have any reason to believe that any of those people planted live ammunition on set?
Judge, I'm going to object to speculation, lack of foundation, and whether he knows any of that.
Well, I think he can answer the question whether he has any reason to believe that they did or not.
Counsel approach.
Sidebar here for a second. Oh, yeah, wait. I can skip through the sidebar. It's the sidebar. Yeah, get this man some water and some tissues. Some gum. Oh, yeah, the cross isn't actually on this. So I'll have to watch that a little bit later because I'll have to find it. But
Crew members,
one of the
any
things I
reason
did
for the
want to show, we'll
question?
get through this, but
I don't.
Do you have any reason to believe that live ammunition was planted by disgruntled crew members who left that morning?
I do not.
And based on everything that you heard when you were in the church after lunch, do you have any understanding of who the person was that loaded that gun?
Yes.
Who is the person that you believe loaded the gun?
The armor.
And who's that person?
Hannah Gutierrezreed.
And do you see her sitting in court today?
that's that bitch sitting right over there. Hey, man, that's her sitting right over there, dude, with the dumb hair every day. I also wanted to show you guys this. This is earlier. Okay, this is from today, but this is a showing immediately after this happened. Immediately after this happened. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah, where's the restroom?
I think so. She knows where it's at.
Just gonna
We gotta go pee.
She's to use the restroom, and she doesn't want to go alone. Will you escort her?
Yeah, where's the restroom?
I think so. She knows where it's at.
Okay.
get that out of the way if you would. Corporal, does this microphone work? Okay. The acoustics are much different from this position. Corporal, who was that gentleman you were speaking to?
That was my sergeant at the time, Christopher Zook.
That's the same gentleman that testified earlier in this trial?
Yes.
And what are you being asked to do?
I'm going to.
I was advised that Hannah
see if I can
needed
find it
to
over here real
use
quick.
the
Hold on, hold
restroom
on.
and that she
This is
wanted
playing.
somebody to accompany her.
Yeah. Hi there. You said you needed to use the restroom? Yeah. Okay, I can go with you.
Oh, I can get this.
Do you have your bag and everything?
I don't know. I think it got taken. She's not. She'll just come right back here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just taking her to use the restroom and that's it. Let me just close this. Okay, where are they?
Do I have to do this here? Can you guys just have me leave?
Well, yeah, so we're gonna take you. Do you want to wait to go to the office or?
Is it gonna be a while?
I'm not sure how much longer. I'd say not too much longer, but I can't tell you what time. Okay.
And Corporal, I couldn't hear what Ms. Gutierrez said to you at the beginning that prompted this discussion about going back to the office. Do you recall?
No, I don't.
Okay, no problem.
Welcome to the worst day of my life.
My shoulder. I hurt my shoulder just sitting here. 37's not the year. Avoid 37.
Okay, things
Fuck.
happen.
Yeah?
Where's your restrooms here?
Right over here.
Okay.
What the fuck? Really? You're coming at me for calling out her hair, Cletus? Come on, dude. I will call out a hell of a lot more about women, men, or any fucking body, dude. I ain't playing no fucking bullshit games like that, dude. I don't know how fucking liberal you think I am, but I'm not that fucking liberal, homie.
I can't believe Alec Baldwin was holding the gun.
Get me worked up in here, baby. Let's go. That makes the best shows, though.
That's alright. Just.
Woman's appearances.
Can the
My
members of the
fucking
jury-
God. Oh, I'm not gonna
You
die.
hear what
Woo.
Ms. Gutierrez is saying in the video? Okay, just checking.
No, he said no. One person said no.
I didn't understand. It's kind of.
Okay. Corporal, could you hear what Ms. Gutierrez was saying in the video?
Yes.
Can you, did we just turn it up?
I changed it up.
Okay. I'll take it back just a short bit and we'll see if that works. Thank you, George.
Okay. What is happening right now?
Okay.
I can't believe Alec Baldwin was holding the gun. That's so fucked.
What did Ms. Gutierrez say to you?
Her statement was, I can't believe
Oh,
Alex.
shit. Shelly got to come through here. Shelly likes when we get riled up, I think. I think Shelly likes when we get a little riled up in here. Woo! Now y'all like it when I do get riled up, though. I like it when it gets out into the atmosphere a little bit like this now, because I can get crazy. I can get a little bit wild. Who grabbed these sons of bitches? Though? Hold on, Shelly Tarbert. First of all, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I'll give you a little love out the gate, a little biggie. Sergeant Friday picked one of those up. Sleuthy Goosey picked one of those up. Giovanni DeStefano picked one of those up. City Kitty picked one of those up. And Elizabeth Whitney picked one of those sons of bitches up. Let's go. Let's go. Holy shit. Welcome in here, guys. Appreciate the chat. And again, all love to Shelly Tarbert, who's always in here spreading out love. Also, make sure, guys, that you have memberships turned on, because we always have super kind, nice folks that will gift out memberships. So we're going to keep on plugging away.
Baldwin was holding the gun. That's so fucked.
And just to be clear, at this point in time, where's Ms. Hutchins?
I believe she's still in the care flight, the helicopter.
And you saw the previous videos, the video from Mr. Benavides. Do you recall seeing that?
Yes.
Okay. And in that video, did Ms. Gutierrez learn that Ms. Hutchins was critical but stable?
Yes.
That's alright. Just Take a deep breath and we'll work this all out, okay?
Super worried about Hannah here. Listen, guys, hold on. Super fucking worried about Hannah here.
I think that one's open.
Do you need to come with me? Or
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand facing opposite, okay?
I gotta come watch you pee. Hold
Why
on.
do you need to escort?
You know, flush none of your coke down the toilet. Which we know she wasn't going to do that because she's a fucking moron. She should have done that in the hotel. Instead, she passed that off to somebody that could narc her out.
Miss Gutierrez to the restroom.
She had actually asked to be escorted by law enforcement, which is why I was with her. We take it as a precaution to accompany people into the restroom, just to, I guess, ensure that they don't harm themselves, that they're not trying to hide evidence, such things like that.
You guys have a lot of people out here.
Yeah. Is there like a closer cop car you guys can put me in or something?
I mean, the closest one that I can put you in is one of the ones that's like the unmarked one.
I just kind of wish that any of my coworkers could stop seeing me because I already feel super bad.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, hold on just 1 second.
I can even throw you in mine. I have an unmarked one.
Is it close?
It's like right. We walked through them.
Okay, cool.
So.
Yeah, I don't want to go back.
Okay.
I just want to get the fuck out of here and never show my face in this industry ever again.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I would.
How long have you been working here?
Nah, just a month.
Just a month?
Yeah. And I've just been doing this job for like 9 months now.
Okay. How old are you?
24. I'm like the only female armorer in the game, and I just fucked up my whole entire
That's for
career.
sure. Only
Have
worried
you
about herself here.
studied
That's why I
armory,
wanted to
or
show
did you go to
this.
classes, or how did you get into it?
My dad's
Fucking
one of the
gross.
best armorers in the entire world, and he trained me, and I'm a fucking failure. Let's hit it.
You ready? Yeah, so it's these cars. Mine's actually the silver car over here.
Okay, my little fanny pack is right in front of that cop car on that thing, if you could bring it.
Okay.
Possibly.
What's in it?
Just my keys. My stuff, my ID.
Okay. Yeah, let me just figure out. Let me sit you in
You
here.
can just leave it, honestly. Yeah, my inhaler is in it.
Okay, do you need that?
My inhaler might be in the back of the cop car.
You know what? Let me...
Yeah, that pissed me off right there. It's insane. You put me in another car to where they're not staring at me.
Sorry, we have so much gear.
It's crazy, dude.
Is that a fucking news media helicopter? Is that like...
I'm not sure.
She said I'm the only female armorer.
Do you want a Gatorade? It's not open. It's been...
I'm alright.
Okay. So, I'll leave that there if you want it, okay? Do you want... Oh, you can control the window. Joe. I have to hang out with you here, though, okay? Since my vehicle is... So, she doesn't want to be up in the cop car until they figure out transportation. We just let them know that I have her in here. She doesn't want to be...
Look, this is the armor?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just gonna hang out with it here?
Yeah.
For now?
Until they figure out what they want to do. But
Gutierrez?
yes.
Okay. So she wants to be transported over there?
Yeah, she
Not
wants...
in a police car?
Right. She exactly, and she just doesn't want to be
Stuck sitting there.
Well, she doesn't want everybody to see her right now, so I have her back here. Okay. Are you from New Mexico?
Out of state. Arizona.
From Arizona? What part?
Amy, thanks for coming in here. Amy, I'm pretty sure you were the first like. I saw your comment in here earlier. Thank you so much, Amy, for coming through. I really appreciate it.
I actually don't think I know where that is. Let me know how the temperature is, okay? You can do whatever you need. Have you called your parents or anything yet? Yeah, go ahead. Whoever you need to call.
Okay, now I'm going to go back because I do want to watch this cross. I just really want to show that because I want to show how little she actually gave a fuck, dude. She didn't ask about Hannah one fucking time. Not once, dude. Hold on. I want to watch this. Yeah, here we go. Halyna, not Hannah. Sorry. I think I said Hannah there. Okay, I think I've got this right when the defense dude comes up and is going to come in on him. Because, yeah, I want to. It doesn't seem like it's super long. So, yeah, we should be able to get. We'll see how it goes. I may have to run up to use the bathroom super quick.
Sir, when you started your testimony, early on in your testimony, you talked about being on 12 prior movies with armor or something like that. Recall that?
Yes.
And you talked about you're used to seeing ex-cops, ex-military. Remember that?
Yes.
As the armor, were those all males?
I can't give you a definitive on that. I think there may have been a female or two, female armor that I worked with in the past.
But you just didn't, you weren't used to seeing a young 24-year-old armor, were you? A female.
I wasn't used to seeing a young 24-year-old armor.
And a female.
That doesn't play into it for me. So whether male or female doesn't really matter in that case.
Okay, and I want to get into another, and we'll work through these topics, but you've talked a lot about things that you think Miss Gutierrez-Reed did. One of the things you didn't tell the jury is that you've sued Russ Production and Alec Baldwin, haven't you?
I have.
You what?
Yes.
You have a pending lawsuit right now, don't you?
As far as I know, it's pending, yes, sir.
And your attorney's in the courtroom?
He is indeed.
Been watching your testimony?
Clearly.
See how you do?
You'd have to ask him, sir.
Okay. And you've sued Alec Baldwin and Russ Production, but you have not sued Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, have you?
Again, you'd have to talk to my counsel about who I've actually sued.
Have you read the lawsuit?
I perused it.
You perused it. What does that mean? Did you read it, all the paragraphs, or did you just read page 1 and just said, knock yourself out, lawyer, go ahead?
I think I got past page 1, but since I'm not in your industry, I don't understand what a lot of that is, and I trust my counsel to represent me.
It seems like you're making a lot of opinions earlier on what armors do. You filed a lawsuit. It seems like you could have read your lawsuit, right?
Objection, relevance to whether or not he read his lawsuit?
Well, I want to ask if he's read these paragraphs, because he has a totally different story in his lawsuit that he did today. So I want to ask him if he's read and adopted this lawsuit.
And I think he's already answered that.
Did you approve your lawsuit being filed?
I must have.
Because it was filed. Right?
Sorry.
Okay. And in that lawsuit, you're suing for a variety of things, punitive damages, right?
Again, I'm not a lawyer, sir, so you'd have to discuss that with my counsel.
Well, you know you're suing for loss of enjoyment of life.
Certainly.
Right? Okay. And you know you're suing for medical expenses and non-medical expenses, right?
I understood that to be the case, yes.
So out of this tragedy, you claim that you have a blast injury, right?
I believe that's in the documents you're referring to, yes, sir.
Did you go to the doctor for a blast injury?
I have talked to my physician about what happened that day, yes.
You've talked to your physician. Did they do any tests? Did they take any x-rays? Did you just tell him I was in this? And
I described the incident, and he did what he felt was appropriate.
What was that?
I'm not going to discuss my medical treatment with you, sir.
Okay. Well, so in any event, you're suing.
Holy shit, I was literally about to fucking bust. Hold on. Whew, had to run. I probably missed something fucking awesome. Alright. It's this fucking water I'm chugging and drinking all day long. I'm like on my 3rd bottle today, and that's probably not even what you need.
Russ Production and Alec Baldwin, right?
Yes.
And you're here telling this jury all about Miss Gutierrez-Reed, but in your lawsuit, you talk about defendants, Russ Production and Alec Baldwin, cut corners and cut costs, and it endangered the cast and crew. So you believe that, right? Russ Production?
I do.
And you believe that their hiring of Gabrielle Pickle and Roe Walters to manage the budget was not a good idea because they have cost-cutting problems on prior sets? You believe that?
Correct.
Okay. And you also believe that David Halls had prior safety issues, correct?
Yes.
On a prior set, he didn't manage that safely, did he?
That was my understanding.
Okay. You also believe, you knew that Miss Gutierrez-Reed had asked for more training days as an armorer. You knew that.
I don't...
To the form of question, there needs to be a question. It sounds like a statement.
You were
Overruled.
Okay. You're aware that Miss Gutierrez-Reed asked Gabrielle Pickle for more time as an armorer, more training days, and more armorer days. You're aware of that.
I became aware of that after 2 people were shot. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's in your lawsuit. It's part of your lawsuit.
Okay.
Okay. So let me ask you this: are you hoping that you can come in and testify here today, and something happens to Miss Gutierrez-Reed, it'll help your lawsuit?
I'm hoping for justice, sir.
For
2
yourself.
people were injured on a film set. That has not only affected me, that has affected the film industry.
And you want money for that?
I want justice.
You want money. Your lawsuit doesn't say justice; it says money.
Again,
it says
you'd
you're
have
suing
to...
for money. Isn't that correct?
Mr. Bowles needs to let the witness answer the question. That he's being argumentative. This needs to be a cross.
You are being argumentative.
I'll let him answer. I agree. You're suing for
Wow,
money.
he did turn into something else. Shit.
I asked my lawyer to help bring justice in this case. And if that doesn't mean criminal, then I would assume that means some sort of monetary justice.
Yes. Okay. Now, you also understood that Mr. Halls did not post the safety bulletins onto any of the call sheets. Correct?
I understood that production did not furnish us with safety bulletins, sir.
Okay, so production. So that may not have been Mr. Halls. It may have been somebody else in production.
Again, production is all-encompassing of Mr. Halls and the other ADs that would generate that information.
And you also indicate that Mr. Halls was the overall safety coordinator on set, correct?
That's typically one of the many jobs of the first assistant director, yes, sir.
And so it's his responsibility to convene the safety meetings you testified to, right?
Typically it is, yes.
And in this particular set, he did not do that on every day of the filming, did he?
Not to my recollection.
And in fact, the day that this, you described it as the camera crew walked off the day of the shooting incident. You described it as more chaotic than it had been. And that day, there was no safety meeting convened by Mr. Halls, was there?
Not that I was invited to.
Okay. You're also, you've indicated that Mr. Baldwin didn't follow gun safety rules. You believe that, right?
I do.
And you believe that Miss Gutierrez-Reed was operating in 2 jobs in props and armor, and you thought that was dangerous, that production did that, didn't you?
I did.
And you felt it was dangerous.
57 viewers, 57 likes. Boom! That's one of my favorite things that could ever happen.
In those 2 positions. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, sir, you've never been on all of your 12 prior movies with armors. You've never been on a set where an armorer was part-time, right?
I don't recall ever working on a set that had a part-time armorer, no, sir.
Okay. So this would be your first one on the Rust set where they had part-time.
Potentially.
Okay. And in fact, because it's in your suit, you thought that was a terrible idea, right?
If it says so in the suit, then I must have said that, yes.
Okay. And this was a gun-heavy set with guns operating on 17 of the 21 scheduled film days, yet you knew that they weren't paying Miss Gutierrez-Reed for more than 8 armor days, right?
I had no idea what they were paying Miss Gutierrez.
Were you aware that whether her armor days had run out by the time of the shooting incident?
I was not privy to that information, sir.
Dude,
Okay.
I saw that, and I saw you say that earlier. That's fucking insane. That Dave Halls worked on both the Crow sequel? Even to be affiliated in any way with that's nuts. Wow, though. Fuck.
And you're probably not also privy to the fact that
Like, how did he work out?
regularly performing
I guess
props
the
duties
police decided he gets
as
the
part
plea
of
deal,
her, daily duties on the set. Were you aware
Can't
of
blame
that?
him
You
for
see her
taking it,
doing
but
those prop
Jesus.
duties?
I believe that it was noted on the call sheet that she had more than one responsibility.
Did you ever
Smash it.
see her, for example, rolling cowboy cigarettes, having her do jobs like that in her props duties?
Can't say that I did.
So you didn't see her all the time then?
No, because my job takes a lot of focus, and I have essentially 5 bosses at any given moment, so I have to focus on my tasks at hand.
Well, that's what you said also, that you didn't see who was in the church, or you didn't see what was happening because you have to focus on your job. You have to focus on your camera and what you're doing with that, right? So you're not always seeing everything else around you.
I'm not necessarily seeing, but I'm trying to watch and listen to everything that I can on set.
Let me ask you about that, listening to everything. You talked about what the negligent discharge by Sarah Zachary, nothing being called out in terms of a gun being operated. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Now, what radio channel were you using on set, would you regularly use?
I'm a grip, so I'm always on Channel 8, sir.
Channel 8. And do you understand, or did you understand that the armor operates on Channel 1? And that's when that's called out on Channel 1 and it goes to David Halls. Did you know that?
If it only goes to Channel 1 and Dave Halls, then somebody's failed at their job, because their job is to let everybody know what's going on with firearms and ammunition on set.
And were you aware then, sir, before you gave your testimony to the jury, that responsibility is Mr. Halls then to call out, we're going to have a gun scene? Were you aware of that?
I'm aware of what Mr. Hall's responsibilities are, certainly.
Okay, well then, why didn't you say that earlier? That when this was called out, you may have been on the wrong channel. Maybe Mr. Halls didn't call it out. Did you not know that?
I don't understand your question. I wasn't on the wrong channel. I'm on Channel 8, where I'm supposed to be, sir.
Okay, well then, the failure was not Miss Gutierrez-Reed's, which you wanted to imply to the jury. It was Mr. Halls, wasn't it?
Miss Gutierrez-Reed loaded a firearm that killed my friend and injured a director.
I'm not talking about the incident. I'm talking about the negligent discharge with Sarah Zachary. We're talking about that incident. Now, first of all, you have no idea who loaded that weapon that Miss Zachary negligently discharged, do you?
I wasn't there when the weapon was loaded, so no.
Okay. And you have no idea, but you said earlier you don't even know if there was a bullet in it.
I saw a bullet in Joel Souza's shoulder.
I'm not talking about that, and I know you want to keep coming back to it for your lawsuit, but I'm talking about Sarah Zachary's negligent discharge.
My bad. Hold on. I don't know why that's happening so often. I used to be able to. We went a long time without it happening at all.
To Mr. Bull's tone, indicating that
Just, please no commentary.
Hopefully that fixed it.
Yes, I won't,
All right,
Your Honor.
all
I
right,
won't.
thank you.
So, with regard to Sarah Zachary's negligent discharge,
So annoying.
you have no idea whether it was a blank, whether it was a live round. You just don't know.
Correct.
Okay. Now, you talk a lot throughout your testimony about all these failures you find in Miss Gutierrez-Reed, yet in your lawsuit, it's all
it
about
still there?
production of Mr. Baldwin.
Is it still there? What the fuck? I'll lose my fucking mind.
Baldwin. Can you explain that? Why you talk about production of Mr. Baldwin in your lawsuit?
Nice.
And not Miss Gutierrez-Reed?
I would refer you to my counsel, sir.
Is it because
I
she-
didn't write that lawsuit, so
Okay.
I would refer you to my counsel for those questions.
You went after the people with money for the lawsuit, right? And
I
then
went after production, the people responsible for hiring the people that killed and shot someone on a film set.
And you, as part of that, talk about that the decision to hire Miss Gutierrez-Reed was motivated by production's desire to have a quick and cheap production. That was part of their desire to hire a cheaper position in that role, make her do two jobs, right?
Apparently that's what it says. That's what it says.
Okay. And
It's getting agitated. He's riling him up.
you indicated that this was constantly rushed and reckless and chaotic on set, correct?
Correct.
And you heard Mr. Baldwin a couple of times at least rushing people and telling them to move, right?
I did.
Okay. Did you hear Mr. Halls do that also?
I did.
Did you ever stand up to Mr. Baldwin and say, no, we're not going to move this fast?
That's not my job, sir.
Okay. And did you ever see anybody else stand up to Mr. Baldwin, tell him not to move that fast?
I don't recall anybody standing up to Mr. Baldwin on the set of Rust, sir.
Wasn't going to happen, was it?
Objection to the form of question calls for speculation.
You never saw anybody.
Restate the question.
Yes, Your Honor. You were aware, based on your seeing Mr. Baldwin, how he interacted with everybody, it was your perception nobody was going to stand up to him, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Because he's running the show. He's the big boss, right?
He's both, well, he's the producer, one of the writers, and on the call sheet, he's number one. So, yes.
So wouldn't you find it difficult for a 24-year-old female armor in her, as you call it, her second movie, with everybody else, grown men, not standing up to Mr. Baldwin? Wouldn't you find that difficult for her also?
I wasn't in her position.
That's the truth.
Now you also talk
A
about
good
the
armorer
odds-
or AD would stand up in the face of any powerful person. Honestly, if that's your job, that's your job. I know that's her second spot and she wants to be in the business, but let's be real. You have to. And if you're out there in your life and you see some fucked up shit going on, there's somebody, some asshole who's got their thumb over you saying, don't say this, fuck them. Always fuck that person. I get what he's saying and it makes 1,000% sense, and she probably did this, but she's the one that is responsible for that gun, for that bullet that left the chamber, that went through a human and killed them into another human being, okay? You have to always stand your ground, man.
See, armor, you knew that
Always.
Miss Gutierrez-Reed was not yet in the union.
It's hard. It's not easy.
My understanding was it was a union show and the crew was union.
But you didn't know whether she was not union. She's not union. You didn't know that.
Mr. Bowles is testifying, Your Honor.
No.
I'm asking if he's aware.
No.
But
You
he's
are
not.
testifying. You said she's not in the union, okay? That's your testimony.
Well, I'm
So
asking if
ask it as a question rather than testifying.
Yes. Were you aware that Miss Gutierrez-Reed is not union?
He is. I'm actually surprised by this, honestly, from the defense attorney. I mean, he's been great so far. I mean, I hadn't seen this until today, but holy shit, like, he's actually letting his emotions also get the better of him. He's getting in just arguments with Ross here instead of making sure that there's a question that's formed. That's crazy.
I was under the impression that we were doing a union movie. Everybody on the crew was union. I didn't learn that she was not yet in the union until after.
So you did learn that after?
Correct.
Okay. And you know from your experience in over 100 credits and being on a movie, having the union behind you makes it likely that you can stand up. I mean, in other words, if there's a safety issue and you have your union behind you, you can raise that because you've got the union.
Yo, Ashy.
On a union movie, any crew member has the support of a union, whether they're union or not. They are represented by IATSE.
Well, could you have stopped the whole production if you wanted to, if you saw all these safety issues?
I certainly could have voiced my opinion. Whether or not they would have honored that and stopped anything, I cannot say.
Okay, so you did say on the negligent discharges, you went to Mr. Halls and you told him you were concerned, and you told him you're concerned about safety. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you also told his second AD, Ann. You told both of them, right?
Ann was his second, just to be clear. But yes, I did mention
That's what you do
as well, that
you
that
go
I
talk
was
to
concerned
somebody.
and that this needed to be
You quit.
on the
6 people quit.
the daily production report, knowing that the other producers typically read the production reports, as would the insurance company
100%.
or whoever's bonding the film.
Okay, and you didn't see anybody do anything after you made those complaints?
I wouldn't necessarily see anybody do anything because they would potentially be on Channel 1 having that conversation amongst themselves.
Well, did you see anything happen, like additional training, any kind of actions taken by Mr. Halls that you saw?
I didn't see anything change.
Okay. So the day of the incident, the day of the shooting, you indicated to Miss Morrissey on direct that you didn't see Miss Gutierrez-Reed in the church, but you didn't have concerns or words to that effect, that after the firearm had come into the church, you didn't have concerns because I think you testified the armorer would check that. Is that what you said?
I believe that misstates the testimony.
Well, tell me what you said. I may have misheard it. Tell me what you said.
I don't know what you're getting at. I don't know what you want me to restate, sir.
Let me ask you, you didn't see Miss Gutierrez-Reed in the church?
I only heard her in the church.
Did you look around and after you heard her to see if you could see her in the church?
No.
Okay. So did you see if anybody else, Sarah Zachary from Props, was in the church?
I think we've already covered this, and no, I don't recall anybody from the props department seeing anybody from the props department in the church.
Okay. Now, Sarah Zachary, I want to talk about her for a minute. You knew, or were you aware that she would load firearms too at times?
I became aware when she had a negligent discharge on set.
Okay. Did you also ever see her loading firearms on set?
I don't recall beyond that incident her really dealing with firearms, if at all.
You know that Sarah Zachary was Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's boss?
I do.
As props master? Mm-hmm. Okay. And now earlier you talked about your understanding of armor, but isn't it true that props department is in charge of the ammunition? Those are props.
That's my understanding of how the props department works, sure.
Okay. So when you said earlier that the guns and ammo would be the armor, in reality, the ammunition falls under the props department. It's a prop.
My understanding is live ammunition is absolutely the armorer's responsibility. Any other ammunition that may be used in belts or bandoliers or strewn about on set is falls under props.
Well, live ammunition is never supposed to be on the set.
When I say live ammunition, I'm referring to blanks. something that can go bang and hurt someone.
Okay, so let's be clear. You're not a blank is not a round with a projectile. It's not a real bullet. It's a blank that shoots powder, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My understanding of blanks are, it looks very much like a real bullet. They're crimped differently at the end, so they don't actually contain a bullet. But beyond that, I don't know that I would, I don't know if they're marked in any other way other than seeing the ends crimped.
Okay. And you've never been an armor yourself?
I've never been in the props department at all, no.
Or the props department. So when you make opinions about what you think, you really have no idea because you've never served in that role. It's just what you've seen over other movies?
It's what I've learned in almost 30 years in the film industry, yes.
Okay. Now, when you talked about guns being left out on the cart, I want to ask your experience in prior movies. Have you seen carts that are professional looking that can be locked up, that an armor can use to lock up those weapons on it?
Yes, and I believe I described that earlier.
Okay. And this cart in this set was not like that.
I believe it was just kind of a more of what I would be accustomed to seeing craft services use, like an open gray plastic cart.
And were you aware that it took over a week for the props department even to get that cart?
I'm not in the props department. I'm not really aware of what they do.
Okay.
In that sense.
So this cart that they had on set that they were supposed to use for their firearms, on this Rust set, it wouldn't lock. It was more like something you would see in the crafts department. And production provides that, right?
Again, I don't know what the props department brought or what they were provided. A lot of us rent the production companies our appropriate gear. Some of that may be carts, some of that may be tools.
Okay, so you don't know.
No.
You also don't know if the firearms that you said were laying out from time to time on the cart were real firearms or were plastic, were replica. You don't know that for sure.
I can tell you that the firearms certainly looked real as they would reflect the sunlight. They were certainly metal firearms. Whether they were actual firing guns, no, I don't know. But my experience is any firearm, even rubber dummy, at the very least in some sort of soft firearms case, a bag, somehow protected and not laying on top of a cart that's not secured.
Well, you saw the gun socks they have, the protective cloth carrying for the guns. You saw those, didn't you?
There may have been a long gun or two that had some sort of sock or some soft covering on them, sure.
And the handguns had the socks too. You never saw those?
I don't recall seeing the handguns in any kind of container, sir.
Okay.
Let's ask.
Did you ever hear Hannah call out the load amounts? You testified earlier you didn't, but you weren't always around those scenes when Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was dealing with the firearms, were you?
I was on set 95% or more of the time, so there may have been an instance where she called out whatever power that blank load would have been, and I missed it.
And again, if she's calling it out on Channel 1, and Mr. Halls is supposed to then communicate that, and you're on another channel, she may have called it out and you didn't hear it.
Well, the protocols on set typically is the armorer would call that out verbally. What she does on her radio, I don't know. I'm not on that channel. And then the first assistant director would parrot that and let us all know to make sure there was redundancy and that we heard it was hot or cold.
And sir, are you sitting now under oath telling this jury that Hannah never called out the loads that were used on that set? Are you going to tell them that under oath, that you never heard that?
Objection, Your Honor. That has not been his testimony, and he's already answered this question.
It's been asked and answered.
So other than reporting to Mr. Halls and the second, did you ever report this to anybody else? If you were so concerned about it, did you report it to Gabrielle Pickle? Did you report it to anybody else? Did you report it to Joel Souza?
I believe that Joel Souza and Halyna, before she was killed, had a conversation about some of the safety issues,
That was my
payroll
question.
issues, and I did notify Local 80, which was the union that represented me while I was making that movie.
When did you notify Local 80?
You'd have to contact Local 80. It was early in the movie, and I can't give you a definitive date, sir.
Well, no, I'm asking you. I'm not going to contact Local 80. They're not here in court.
He's already indicated he doesn't remember.
Judge, can I do my
I
cross-examination?
think they need to fight. No, I think we need to take the gloves off and we need to fight. Who's going to win this one? Ladies and gentlemen, in this corner we have Baldo. Yeah, I like this defense attorney as well, but he's being extremely combative with this witness the entire time. He's actually broken away from even asking questions, demanding answers. Come on. I like this dude too, though.
Properly, you can.
I'm doing it properly.
Okay, no, let them fight. Let them fight.
Ask the question about the date. He said he didn't remember, and then you started to tell him you weren't going to ask that person, and that he was going to tell you in so many words, okay?
Yes.
So let's not be argumentative. Let's just ask him. You can ask him one more time.
So, do you have any idea what date you may have contacted Local 80?
I believe it was in the first week of production.
Okay. So the first week of production was before any accidental discharges would have happened.
That doesn't mean
That note that she just passed just said, "Fuck that bitch." I couldn't agree more. Because I actually hate the prosecutor lady. So I'm all over the place on this, okay?
wasn't concerned about safety.
And I understand, and my question was not that. I understand you were concerned. My question was, that was before any of the accidental discharges.
I don't recall exactly if that was before or after, but once I contact Local 80, that doesn't mean I stop talking to Local 80 throughout production. So I think we had more than one conversation about it.
Because you're contacting Local 80, did they do anything about it?
My understanding was they contacted the New Mexico local, which is 480, and a representative from 480 showed up, and possibly a representative from the camera union, Local 600, also showed up.
Tayo Toys, Phil coming through with the real information from today, or from this entire trial. Hannah drives a Hyundai. Found that out today. The car of pure evil. Okay, that's an official word.
What happened at that point? Did they do anything?
They have conversations that I'm not part of, sir. Yeah.
Ultimately, the camera crew was disgruntled, and they walked off the day before the shooting. Part of that was their hotel situation. You were aware of that, weren't you?
I don't know about disgruntled, but I know that they were promised hotels or housing, and those promises never came to fruition.
Okay. And so they left, and the next day when there had to be a new camera crew, they had to get some more people. You were aware Video Village was down?
I was not.
You didn't know Video Village was down?
Hyundai? Is that not how you say it? Hyundai? Is it just Hyundai? Is it not Hyundai? I don't know. If it's wrong, that's no news here.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Counsel approach.
Is it just Hyundai? Okay. It might be. It could. It probably is. Hyundai. Hyundai. I need to take that damn Y out of there. Hyundai. Hyundai. Hey, Hyundai. Was that the Elantra? The Hyundai Elantra. Oh wait, I can get through this. What am I doing? Sitting here like we're at an actual live trial. Give you a little bit of
respect my house.
Huh?
Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Oh shit, Miss S. $4.99 coming through. I can't think of anything clever to say. Well, Miss S, thank you so much. I appreciate the shit out of that. And you know I do. Miss Esquire. Huh? Thank you so much. Seriously. Fip's got my back. Y'all watch out.
This is gun country.
This is gun country.
You, sir, you said earlier Baldwin always wanted to use his hero props, or words to that effect. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And by that you meant he wanted to use the real, for example, the real revolver?
That was my understanding of his the way he liked to perform. Yes, sir.
Okay. And would that also include, sir, the knife?
I can't lie to you. Like, I heard them in my head as it's happening. Shot, shot, shot.
Those kind of, is that what you're meaning by hero props?
My recollection is Mr. Baldwin always wanted to be ready to call rolling when he was ready. So hero props in his wardrobe, essentially ready to go.
Okay. And everybody else had to be ready to go when he was ready.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, what he's saying, I actually 100% agree with. I think that's probably how this set actually was run. Everyone was scared as fuck of Alec Baldwin. But at the end of the day, dude, if your job is an armorer and you're fucking around with bullets that are in your pockets that you have potentially, allegedly, maybe brought on the set, that there should be no live real bullets on anyways, like, that's fucking crazy. You already don't feel comfortable. You already feel like you don't have enough experience and that you need more help on the set. So you're already fucking around. You're doing drugs. Again, someone lost their fucking life, and I see people, and even Adam, saying 18 months, maybe that's good enough. I don't think that's good enough, okay? I don't think 18 months is good enough. Big fuck up, okay? That's a big, ginormous fuck up that a lady died from.
Sir, it was your understanding, and you may have said this, and I just want to go back over it, but that Mr. Baldwin did not, that scene or that rehearsal did not require the draw. Was that your understanding?
My understanding was it was really just the initiation of that movement was the part of the story that Joel Souza wanted to tell.
Okay. And that, I think you called it an extreme close-up shot of his hand?
Correct.
Coming out. Okay. So it would be coming out of his holster, and there would be an extreme close-up on that.
Correct. The frame would have been essentially his right hand going into his coat to draw his firearm.
Okay, sir.
And that's true, Sleuthy Goosey, for anybody in any profession, in any walk of life, no matter what the fuck you're doing. If you don't end up with this job, it wasn't meant to be. There's tons of other paths for you in this life, okay? I don't care what you are doing. You've worked your entire life to get to this position. If that entails the possibility of putting someone else's life at risk, no matter what is happening, and we're not even counting all the other factors that are going on here, because there's tons, endless factors of fuck-ups. Let's just say the only fucked up thing happening is the power trip going on by Alec Baldwin or a person in power on any job or set. You, Hannah, anyone stands up to that person and says, fuck no, I don't think so, that's not what we're doing. I will be down the road. I'm sorry. There's way too many fucking yes men in this world. Way too many. Let's fuck this all over anyways. That's why we're in the position we're in now. Yes, fuck faces.
Okay, Your Honor, may I have just a moment? Yeah.
It's craziness, man. It's going to be crazy, Phil. That one's going to be even more nuts for sure.
Redirect.
Mr. Addiego, if you are aware, are you the only person suing Mr. Baldwin and Russ Productions?
Not from my understanding.
There are others, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Bowles asked you in your lawsuit, you claimed that you have lost enjoyment of your life as a result of the incident. Is that correct?
Yes, it is absolutely correct.
See, I don't think that's fake. Call me gullible on
Just
that
to
one.
be clear, did you receive a subpoena for your testimony today?
I believe that my counsel received a subpoena from both sides for today, yes.
Do you know, sir, did anyone force Ms. Gutierrez to accept a job as an armorer and props assistant?
Force her? Not that I'm aware of, no.
Do you know if anyone forced Ms. Gutierrez to continue working on the set of Rust when things were chaotic and difficult?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Is Mr. Baldwin on trial today?
It appears that he is a bit, yes.
I'm asking you, is this the trial of Mr. Baldwin?
No, it's not.
Is this the trial of Rust Productions?
No, it's not.
Is Mr. Halls on trial today?
He is not.
On October 21st, 2021, did Ms. Gutierrez
Kaylin, thanks for coming in
show
here.
the dummy rounds to the cast and crew, as you have indicated is proper safety protocol for armorers?
Not when I was on set, no.
Did Ms. Gutierrez shake the dummy rounds for the cast and crew?
Not when I was on set, no.
If Ms. Gutierrez had shown the dummy rounds to the cast and crew, what do you think would have happened?
We
If he has an opinion, if he knows based upon his personal knowledge.
In your opinion, working on this movie set with Ms. Gutierrez and working on other movie sets with other armorers, if she had taken the dummies, rattled them, showed them to the cast and crew, do you think that live round would have been discovered?
No.
You don't?
Oh, pardon me. Had we looked at all of the ammo, we would have known whether it was dummies or live.
Who made the decision not to show the cast and crew the dummy rounds prior to
now.
handing the gun
been a
to
while.
anyone in the church?
He's been in a couple rounds.
I would guess the armor or...
Again, he's just guessing.
He is...
said he would guess.
All right, that's his answer. He guessed, so we'll strike it. Okay? He guessed.
Is it your understanding that Ms. Gutierrez loaded that gun?
It is.
Sorry, did you all hear me because my mic was off? Yes, you're all saying yes. Okay.
In your opinion, would Ms. Hutchins be alive today if Ms. Gutierrez had not put a live round in the gun?
I'm gonna check.
I'm going to strike that. You didn't get an answer, so.
All right. Who is the person on the set of a movie?
That dude was just a giant shaming
He
of
is.
Jay fan. He's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're going to have to calm that shit right the hell down.
In charge of firearms.
Asked and answered.
Sustained.
Do you know why your civil lawsuit doesn't include Ms. Gutierrez?
You'd have to refer to my counsel for that answer. I don't know.
Have you testified today in order to further your civil lawsuit?
I've testified today to bring justice for the death of my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
All right, you're excused. Thank you, sir.
Wow. That was really interesting to watch. I'm glad I went back and watched that. I'm glad I went back and watched it with you guys.
All right, we're going to break for the...
I love the different opinions in the chat. I love it. It's awesome. As long as we're respectful in here and everyone's cool and there's no one attacking people personally and again being racist or My rule the entire time has always been, don't be a piece of shit. And that entails basically everything I just said. It's the best, I think. I love different opinions, man. I like to have people that will come through and give a reason why they have a different opinion, because I don't agree with everybody all the time at all. I mean, which is pretty clear on Twitter. What an amazing show. You guys coming through out in droves, coming straight off of Jay's show. You've been literally watching this shit all day long, coming through with me. I absolutely appreciate that. You guys are amazing. The next time you will see me will be Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Dan is going to be with me, Dan the man. And then, of course, Friday, we're going to be doing some Feral Friday on here. I don't know what's happening. Probably get back into some Twin Peaks. I do want to finish at least season 1 of Twin Peaks. We've got 3 episodes left, and there's been a few people that have asked me about it. I want to at least finish the first season for those folks. And just, we got started on that son of a bitch. And at least maybe get the first season and maybe the movie out of the way. And if folks want to continue on down the Twin Peaks path, they can. So we'll see. Either way, keep your eyes on Twitter. That's where I do most of my posts. I do want to show one thing. I'm doing a couple of different things that I want to show off. I know Adam saw this earlier, and I think everybody saw the one that I was doing today. I'm starting this one thing on Twitter, and I'm doing something on YouTube as well. Just trying to do basically daily, post shit, but trying to make it interesting, something a little bit different. So on Twitter, and I'm thinking about making these into videos also, but I'm just looking up, and if you guys could help me out, if you find insanely horrific, horrible deaths, wild deaths, send them to me. Stories, not videos. Stories, not videos. Clarifying that now. Stories, not videos. I don't want the videos of people dying. But wild-ass stories, please send that over. I'm Twitter, and again, I'm thinking about making this into an actual video series, Worst Deaths, okay? Because there's a lot of crazy deaths out there. So I posted this one yesterday. And then yesterday I had posted this one. And so far I've made both of these images with Canva AI. And they killed it both times. They absolutely murdered it. This one's horrible. Former medical examiner Dr. Judy Malinik, I butchered that, slaughtered that, reported one of the most tragic deaths involving a man who tumbled into an open manhole following a heated altercation with a friend. The dispute arose when the friend accused him of flirting with his partner. At the bottom of the manhole, there was water, shallow enough for him to stand in, and the steam was scalding due to a mains issue. Regrettably, emergency services were unable to rescue him for several hours, giving the intense heat. Consequently, he found himself standing there helplessly, essentially succumbing to a fatal steaming. He was not injured during the fall, so he was fully conscious during the entire ordeal. Yeah, stuff like that. The most insane shit. And then also over on YouTube, now I can't lie, I took this from Bob Mata and Joe Jackalone. They were doing daily questions. And I saw that they were getting a lot of traction on those questions, and I've been getting a lot of traction as well. So about every day now, pretty much every day, I'm posting a question. Today's question was, in the 1980s, a serial killer operated in Los Angeles, targeting primarily African-American children and young adults. Known for the distinctive green fibers found at the crime scene, who was the elusive, unidentified killer? And then you have the options there. So keep an eye out for that stuff, guys. Trying to keep a lot of stuff interactive. You guys, anybody that's on Patreon and anybody that is a member, you guys have probably already seen that I'm putting more work in already. Going to keep that coming. And as the weather warms up and as I start going out and doing some more cool stuff, I'm going to take you along with me. So yeah, thank you all so much. As you head out the door, please hit that like, get in the algorithm, share it out, let people know that you're hanging out with Publicly Buzzed. And hell yeah, also let me make sure that I've got a portal set up for my man Jay. If he's got something set up for tomorrow, I bet he does. Amazing stream though. Again, I enjoy the different opinions in chat. I really do. A lot of people, a lot of channels don't like to go down that road. I'm not one of those. I like to have the conversation. I get riled up, as you can see also. I mean, I get emotional a lot of times, but I try to always bring it back. Here we go. Boom. You're going to get portaled right into tomorrow's trial. You guys are absolutely amazing, though, for real. I'll get triggered. I totally will get triggered. I'll get a little crazy in here. But as long as we can keep it respectful, baby, I am good to go. Okay. All right, yeah, we'll see you in here Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Unless, hell, you never know. Maybe I'll try to jump on early again and come off the back of one of Jay's streams, because I did that today on purpose. I wanted to get in here and capture as many people as I could, and I think it worked out pretty freaking well. So, again, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. This is cool. This is fun. We have deep, awesome conversation. Jay, you're the fucking man. My brother from another mother. My papa. My dad. Yeah, let's get out of here. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. See you in the morning in the chats.
This verse